All right, Miller Electric Center, Jaguar training camp, wrapping things up for a Sunday practice. We got Jaguar offensive lineman Luke Fortner here with us. Luke, how we doing?
Oh, we're doing well, man. Got some clouds out today, so can't complain about that.
3 out of the last 4 days, really active physical practices. Look, you guys were doing things today, but kind of a lighter day. I'm sure you guys appreciate that at this point in camp.
Definitely appreciate it. Coach Peterson has a pretty strict regimen of, you got to have those practices in there that are grinders and where, people figure out what it's like to be hit. So he gave us a couple of those, and now today he's taking a step back before we ramp it up tomorrow.
Let's talk about you a little bit. We haven't had a chance to talk during training camp yet. Interesting offseason, obviously, with Mitch's arrival. How has that dynamic worked for you guys? And I understand you're doing some more stuff at guard now. Talk about that transition a little bit.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Anytime you get to learn from a guy who's been playing at such a high level for such a long time, you can't waste that opportunity. So it's been great to have him, learn a bunch of stuff from him, and then it's right, bump over to guard and kind of get a feel for what those guys have been doing. And, I think playing guard is just going to make me a better center, better guard, better offensive lineman overall.
How hard is that? I mean, you've been a center, for the last few years at least. I don't know if you did any guard in high school or whatever, but it's got to be a kind of an interesting transition, correct?
Yeah, I did. So I did guard for 5 years in college, moved over for my last year for center. And it's definitely knocking a little bit of rust off, getting the training wheels off a little bit. So it's been good. There's some things I'm definitely better at than I remember, and then some things that I'm not as good at that I remember. So definitely a work in progress.
The offensive line is so interesting. I mean, you talk about guys 25 and under, 26 and under, you, Javon, Anton, a lot of youth in that room. Yet when you look at Shatley, Sheriff, Cam, and Mitch, that's like 40 years, man, of NFL experience. Just talk about, how that works in that room, those guys and the youngsters.
Yeah, I mean, it's a clear, they've been the guys who've been around. They know what it's like to play in the NFL. So just to learn from them and, keep trying to tell, the young guys, Anton, Javon, hey, these guys have been around, right? There's a reason they're still here. They're still around. I think we had one of the rookies compile all the games that the older guys have played combined. So he hasn't given that report yet, but when he does, I'll be sure to report back.
Obviously last year did not end the way you guys wanted it to. I'm sure you've heard, the offensive line in particular, the criticism that's been out there. I mean, between the criticism, the losing 5 out of 6, here we are 6.5, 7 months later. How much of a motivating factor still is that for you guys?
Yeah, obviously it's motivating. It's motivating from, our inner selves. We knew we were going to go to the playoffs, right? And then we were wrong. So you got to figure out where you went wrong, why you thought you were going to and you didn't. And I think for us, before all the outside criticism comes in, we as a unit we were down bad to start, when that happened. But it's obviously a huge motivation. I think the other thing is last year, I think we took too much of what had happened the year before and brought it into last year. So I think there's a balance there of obviously it's motivation, but this is a new team, this is a new unit, you know what I mean? So just trying to balance those two.
A couple of more for Luke Fortner. You got some young guys on the D-line that look pretty hungry, Mason Smith, Jordan Jefferson, Miles Cole among them. What have you seen out of some of the young D-linemen?
Yeah, I mean, they're all big dudes. They're all great players so far, and the biggest thing I've seen from them is they're just all flying around. They're hustling, they're giving effort. No one's too good for anything. They're running around, flying the ball. So I think from there, you can just let the coaches work and do their job.
Trent Baalke talked about physicality, wanting to improve that. Look, I'm a media guy, right? I mean, I'm not out there getting after like you guys, but from watching it on the sideline, some physical practices. Do you get a sense that maybe this team is a tad more physical than it has been in the years you've been here?
Yeah, I mean, I think like you mentioned earlier, there's that chip on our shoulder from last year, and I think guys are eager to prove that, that was a fluke. That's not us, right? So I think that's what you're seeing right now.
Luke, as we wrap up, Trevor gets a contract extension, Josh, Foye, Tyson. What does that mean to the guys in the locker room, this organization taking care of their own?
It means a ton. I mean, when you look at any of those guys, you can name a million different qualities about them, how great people they are. Before they even step up on the football field, they are awesome dudes. So then you combine that with their football prowess, and everyone's just so excited for them, so pumped for them.
Final question. It's game week, right? You guys, I see the smile. OTAs are fun, mini camp, training camp, but you want to hit somebody else, right? You get to do that on Saturday when Kansas City rolls in. How excited are you for that?
We're so excited to hit somebody else. I mean, you go head-to-head with all these great defensive linemen and defensive linebackers, but, they piss you off pretty quick. So it's exciting to get face somebody else here soon.
Luke, best of luck on Saturday. We'll be watching.
Appreciate it, man.
Hey, Mia here, and thanks so much for watching 1010XL Jaguars. For even more coverage of the Big Cats, be sure to subscribe to 1010XL Jaguars.